showing that mornings for medical staff in special military operation rarely start with coffee. Mostly out there. Something like that.
Ukrainian aviation strikes Russian soldiers in the Kursk region with precision Jdam ER bombs. Recent Ukrainian strikes on Russian targets in the Kursk region using Western-supplied weapons, including ATAK-EMS missiles, have caused significant disruption and alarm among Russian authorities. The strikes have left Russian officials scrambling to maintain a narrative of strength, while internally there is visible frustration over their inability to prevent these precision hits. Their reaction underscores the growing challenges of defending deep inside their territory against advanced weaponry they blame themselves for provoking by launching an unprovoked war in Ukraine. The 36th Marine Brigade, along with other units, repelled a large-scale mechanized Russian attack in the Kursk region. Russians used armored vehicles, tanks, and Chinese-supplied Desert Cross buggies. Russia's attempts to counter Ukrainian forces and push them out of the Kursk region have resulted in repeated failures, exposing significant weaknesses in their strategy and operational execution. Despite deploying air defense systems and increasing military presence, Ukrainian strikes, bolstered by Western-supplied weaponry like ATAK-EMS missiles, have inflicted heavy losses on Russian personnel and infrastructure. Key military installations, including radar systems and airfields, have been hit, disrupting Russian operations and creating logistical bottlenecks. The inability to secure Kursk stems from several factors. First, Ukrainian forces have demonstrated precision and effectiveness in targeting critical Russian assets, significantly weakening local defenses. Second, despite claims of strong air defense capabilities, Russian systems have proven insufficient to intercept advanced Ukrainian missiles, with a significant number of strikes successfully hitting their targets. Russian casualties in the region have been mounting, further demoralizing their troops. Reports indicate high numbers of personnel losses during Ukrainian counterattacks and sabotage operations. The combination of effective Ukrainian tactics and Russia's struggles to adapt to modern, Western-provided weaponry has eroded the Kremlin's ability to respond effectively. This dynamic not only prevents Russia from pushing Ukrainians out, but also exposes vulnerabilities in its broader war effort. These developments underscore the strategic advantage Ukraine has gained through Western military aid and the declining capacity of Russian forces to control territory even within their own borders. Moscow's increasingly frustrated rhetoric about retaliation reflects a defensive position rather than a coherent offensive strategy. The mornings of Russian medics at special military operation very rarely start with coffee. More often, it starts with bags of corpses of fellow soldiers.
And we've been working for 2 hours now. It's part of a series showing that mornings for medical staff in special military operation rarely start with coffee. Mostly out there. Something like that.
The Ukrainian Defense Intelligence reports that Russian militants are demoralized by the successes of opposition forces in Syria. The armies of Assad and Putin are suffering losses, with soldiers chaotically retreating from their positions, abandoning weapons and equipment. Military political analyst Oleksandr Kovalenko clarified that so far, the rebels have captured as trophies at least 3 T-90A tanks. At least one company has lost combat effectiveness due to casualties and technical issues. According to him, Syrian rebels have taken control of 8,000 square kilometers in just 5 days. And Russian representative in the UN Nebenzia was not original, but enviably predictable. In the organization of combat activity of the terrorists in Syria and their weapon supplies, there is a trace of Ukrainian defense intelligence, Russian permanent representative in the UN said. According to him, employees of Ukrainian defense intelligence arm militants in Idlib, including drones. And Russian news outlets report that Ukrainian commanders lead the fighters in Aleppo. Known Russian channel considers that the exchange of any Russian territories, specifically Kursk, is not actually implied by the Constitution, so the Kursk region will be recaptured by force no matter how many years it takes. The Russian Federation ensures the protection of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Actions, except for delimitation, demarcation, and re-demarcation of the state border of the Russian Federation with adjacent states, aimed at alienating part of the territory of the Russian Federation, as well as calls for such actions, are not permitted. Accordingly, neither the Kursk, nor the Kherson, nor the Zaporizhia regions, nor the DPR, nor the LPR are the subject of discussion with anyone, be it Biden, Trump, or anyone else. Thus, all the regions listed will either be voluntarily abandoned by the Ukrainian armed forces or recaptured by force, no matter how many years and efforts it takes, simply because the Constitution requires it, and no one, not a single person in the country or the world, has the authority to propose or implement anything else. At this point, the discussion, including in the Russian information field, on the territorial issue should be closed. Everyone who has any insider information, and in fact is simply engaged in graphomania and presenting their sick desires as reality, including one old alcoholic who considers himself a master of logical conclusions in the blogosphere, is recommended to open and reread the Constitution again. Much will become clear, and there will be no need to build ridiculous conjectures. P.S. Let's pay special attention to the arguments of the liberal freak show, which is pushing theses that Russia could allegedly refuse to return the constitutional territories and change the Constitution, while they refer to the fact that changes have already been made to the Constitution by referendum and supposedly, therefore, a referendum can be organized in this case. Peskov once again stated that NATO membership is unacceptable for the Kremlin regime, amid earlier statements by Zelensky suggesting that he could consider exchanging territories for joining the alliance.
This absolutely contrasts with our thesis on the indivisibility of security, and the security of one of a country cannot be ensured at the expense of another country's security. This is an inviolable rule of international relations that guides us. Therefore, such a decision is potentially unacceptable for us as it poses a threat to us. And this does not eliminate the root cause of what is happening now, those circumstances that compelled us to undertake the special military operation.
And we are not surprised. The Financial Times writes that Putin is not interested in Trump's peace plan and wants Ukraine's total surrender. In an interview with the FT, Russian oligarch Konstantin Malofeev, who is close to the Kremlin, said that Putin would reject any peace plan if it did not take into account Russia's security concerns.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.